Mike, check. Justin Hunt. It's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everyone who subscribed through the channel, who shared a video, shared a link. It's priceless. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, you can hit the Cash App that's right up there or the link in the description. And big thank you to my newest members, all my newest members, SNUTV, The Shy Butterfly, Al Amadi, Air Force Falcons 9922, Tamilo, Jim Muncrow, Jazz Law, Jazz Lou. That's the remix. Jazz Lou, 9-second applause. Thank you. It's all happening. I really appreciate the support. I dropped the supercut of all my scripted pieces last year around Kendrick versus Drake, since this is the 1-year anniversary of the greatest rap battle in hip hop history. 1-second applause. And so that's currently available for members. It's about 2.5 hours long. And it's actually a pretty interesting look at all the things we experienced. I don't think any of us expected this battle to go the places it went, but it went there, and it was history making in that regard. So thank you to all the members and everyone who's joined this channel. Take a look at that. Love to get your feedback. Also, I just conducted an interview with TF and Crisis, two of my favorites. TF's an incredible MC from South LA. Crisis is an incredible producer from the Carolinas. Crisis has produced for Sean Price, Justice League, Soul Council, Rhapsody, you name it, all over the place. And TF is having his moment right now. Vicious lyricist, great storytelling, and he gets really vulnerable about the impact going sober has had on his career. Over the past 2 years, I think it is. They have a project coming out called The Green Bottle on June 6th. And it's great. I've been listening to it. It's one of my favorite projects this year. And so I'll have clips from that video up for the channel, and then members, you'll get a chance to look at that early before I make it open to the public. Now, so thank you guys, sincerely. Now, really great debate took place today. And it was DJ Head versus Mal from the Rory and Mal show, right? And there was, I don't want to say this was teased over the course of this week or the week and a half, but Rory made a public request that DJ Head show up for a debate. And obviously DJ Head, Coast Guard out here, West Coast, tapped in directly with PG Lang, TDE, and pretty much everybody that's out here, to be honest. 1-second applause to DJ Head. And Mal, one half of the Rory and Mal show, New York representative, Bronx representative, Uptown representative, hip hop representative. He has also been tapped in with Drake very closely. And I think we can all agree that Mal is one of the most prominent voices. I think well-deserved most prominent voices. I don't have any smoke for Rory and Mal, even if I do tend to disagree with Mal quite a bit. But I think they're a great platform over there. And so those two debated. Right now, Rory, and I'm going to mess up her name. I'm so sorry for this. The woman who's also one of the hosts on the show, one of the third host of the show, they played the moderator role exclusively. So this is really just Head and Mal talking about different topics related to Kendrick versus Drake. And the conversation goes for maybe 2.5 hours. I watched it twice today, not necessarily from a research standpoint. I was editing some things and getting some other things ready. And then another time I watched it again, but more so because it's just really enjoyable. It is a really enjoyable conversation. So 1-second applause to Mal and Rory and the team for putting that together. And big shout out to DJ Head again for even going into that environment, because they shot this in New York. So 1-second applause to Head on that. Really great content. Here are 4 moments in this that really jumped out to me. I don't want to react to the entire thing because I really do think this is a fantastic video for people to go watch and support. And so I'm going to take a look at these 4 clips here, and we'll take a look at what was said, and I'll give you my commentary as always. So this first question here is whether or not the Rap Avengers truly teamed up with each other on purpose, as if they set this up, as if they teamed up on purpose, all to attack Drake. And it leads into an interesting discussion that I'm going to opine on here. So, but let's set it up.
Or a plot to go against Drake all at the exact same. And Ross said, why would I not want to do that? Well, do you think because Kendrick, The Weeknd, Metro, Future, and Ross all teamed up around the exact same time that there was not a plan or a plot to go against Drake all at the exact same time?
I think that's one of those, when people get the opportunity to show you how they really felt, they're just waiting for the first person to go. And then other people start expressing their true feelings and emotions. I think that's what that was. I think everybody really had some, for the last, 15, 16 years, Drake has been on top, dominating music. I think other artists see that, and I don't know if jealousy is the word to use, but I think other artists feel some type of way, and then they hit bars and they're like, man, I think I could go at him. I think I could get him on a verse. All these guys have songs with him, so there's a relationship. But I think it starts, like Head said, I think it's a competitive thing first. I think after a while, it goes into a little bit of a, more personal thing. Like, a lot of guys, numbers aren't doing as well if they don't have a song with him. Or, he doesn't send verses back as fast as he used to, or he's not sending records like he once was. I think that starts to turn into like, damn, he don't fuck with me, or, like, is it an issue?
Look at DJ Head's face. DJ Head's face. I think we all, at least over here, definitely over here in this community, we understand that DJ Head face, right? Because Maul is giving every other possible situation other than the one that is most likely actually has been the most spoke about by these different people. And the one that is most consistent with the character of Drake that we've all also witnessed over this 15 years of commercial dominance that he's had. Right? Maul's like, oh man, jealousy, Drake don't hit him back the same way, they don't have access to his music, to a feature the way they used to, and watch where Head takes this.
Change of a number or something like that. You know how those things happen, and then it turns into, all right, well, fuck him.
Head, would you agree?
No.
1 second applause.
Elaborate, yeah.
So I don't think I don't think it's like a grandioso conspiracy. I don't think that people was plotting and waiting, or I don't even think that it was a jealousy thing, or even that had anything to do with his music. I think if you're a shitty person to people, regardless of what you do, like I have homies, I have homegirls who they nigga told them that they love them, and then they would do shit to counter that, right?
Great point. 1 second applause. If you're just a terrible person, it makes it a whole lot easier for everyone else to say, yeah, you know what? He is a terrible person. Oh, he was terrible to you too? He was terrible to me. Yo, my homie said the same thing about Homeboy when they had a project together. Now you got a whole collective of people who equally look at you as terrible and say, yeah, it's time to let the world know how terrible this person is. I've said it the entire time throughout this entire battle. And I said it again, this is in the supercut that's available on this channel. I said it a bunch of times in there. I think all of this could have been avoided if Drake was just a better person. A better person. It's not like he's some victim in this situation. If he was just a better person. And Head is talking about it here.
Right? Whether it be through verbally or physically. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what I do for you, regardless of what I do for you, I can't just be like a shitty person to you on top of that and just be like, all right, everything's good now. Mm-hmm. So I think that there are things like, obviously, we all know like Head is cryptic. Head don't like to talk about nothing. I'm just not willing to, everything for me ain't content. So I'm not willing to divulge like, this nigga did this to this person. And then it's just that when your character is not wholesome and you violate the sanctity of certain relationships, yes, certain people are probably going to feel a way towards you, mm-hmm. regardless of what stimulus package you've given them in the past. Mm-hmm. It does.
100%. 1 second applause. And I agree with that too. For me, everything isn't content. I got a call today about some stuff, and I ended up putting this person in touch with some other people that can help, fix the narrative that's going around about this story, giving exclusives to other people. And because the story really isn't my beat, but, I say that again because, again, for me, everything isn't content. Now, what Head is talking about is also something that happens quite a bit. I know some off-the-record information, and rather than use that for content, I tend not to. And it's really because I have people to be accountable for. I have to be accountable to you all, obviously, but also have to be accountable to people who believe in me, people who support me, people within this industry who've helped me out, people in life and family members, So there's other considerations that tend to ring loud, or probably, and honestly, louder than my desire to monetize off of everything that surrounds this space, right? And so Head is saying that. And the Head is over here talking from firsthand information, just like Maul, both of them are. And Head is like, yeah, you know, it's not a secret how Drake's been treating people. Everything isn't content. I respect him for saying that. 1 second, applause.
Doesn't matter. So if you violate the relationship, I think that, yeah, people are going to feel a way about you.
For sure. I mean, that's a life thing. Away from us talking about some of the biggest artists in the world, I think that's life. I think if you have a relationship with somebody and then, you know, it changes and then the person starts treating you some type of way and then it's obviously emotions and feelings change. Not saying that I think that's what happened here. But again, I do think that some of it is, you know, if Drake.
It's funny that Maul said he doesn't think that's what happened here, because in this battle, right, the Future and Metro component was so critical to any of this happening. I mean, those guys made a double album. They made 2 albums with allusions to how they don't trust Drake. They went out on record, made music, and listed features, told the features what this project's about. Feel free to talk about this. Or, you know, and Maul's saying, not to say that this is what happened. And I think we really know that there is something there, maybe more than what has been detailed publicly. Because in the battle, again, Drake was almost apologetic to Future. You know, he said, Future shit made me sick to my stomach. We ain't never really been through it. You know, like, you could tell he had remorse. He said that on Family Matters. He had remorse in that situation, right? He doesn't seem to have remorse for Metro Boomin. But, you know, take any of the subtle rumors that are behind the scene on that, right? I can tell you that Drake did something to Metro that was really bad. Okay. So that was the next line on Family Matters. Future shit make me sick to my stomach. We ain't never really been through it. Leland Wayne is a effing lame, so I know he had to be an influence, right? Well, now Metro is Future's artist. He has a pub deal with free bands. right. So that whole thing had a lot more to do with how Drake, or how they perceive Drake treating them. And the Family Matters line, to me, is another indication that Drake at least sees what's happening with the Future side of it, along with other things that have come out since then. Now, Drake did pay Young Thug $1 million, right? And so now you've got Young Thug saying he's a Drake fan. He's putting money into their economy, into their, you know, directly in the case of Thug, to make all that better. Like, that's what's actually happening now. But to act like this isn't about how Drake treats people, because it wouldn't have spilled over into A$AP Rocky. Well, that stuff is public. The Weeknd, well, that stuff is public. Rick Ross, well, that stuff is public. French Montana, well, that stuff is public. Childish Gambino, well, these things are public that have been happening for a long time. So I think Maul just underplaying that perspective in this conversation. So yeah, that clip, the conversation goes back and forth there. Definitely check that out. It's really interesting where that goes. The next one is TaylorMade Freestyle. Now, you guys know I love TaylorMade Freestyle. That's my favorite joint from Drake in this battle. 100%. I made multiple comments about it. I've talked about it in multiple videos. I've made a full dedicated video explaining it. I like hearing Drake in third person. I don't get a lot of third person from Drake. That's what I like to hear. I thought that was really creative. I thought the timing of it is, you know, the way he did it in the moment. We had never seen anything like that. We had never seen AI used in a rap battle, right? So it's pioneering in that sense too. I like that song, and I like the way it sounds, just straight up. So 1 second applause to TaylorMade Freestyle, and 1 second applause to me being on my own island when it comes to TaylorMade Freestyle. Now, with that said, I can't sit here and deny the fact that TaylorMade Freestyle aged terribly and was probably one of the worst chess moves in rap battle history, and is an indicator of being disconnected from culture, or a particular culture. Maybe not necessarily rap culture and hip hop culture in that context, but definitely California culture, West Coast culture, and Snoop and Dre, you know, people who revere Snoop and Dre as icons that they are culture, right? I mean, and in this situation, when he's going up against Kendrick, you know, terrible chess move. It aged terribly. But Rory asked this question in this debate: was TaylorMade. Was it a mistake for Drake to mention his own allegations first on TaylorMade Freestyle? Here's how the debate goes.
Get off TaylorMade pretty quickly, but I do want to ask both of you, was it a mistake for Drake to say in TaylorMade, call him a pedophile?
No.
Why?
Because I think that was obviously in the
Maul said no. Maul said no. Now, broader ramifications. Drake is suing UMG for defamation right now. And that claim is based off of certified lover boys, certified PDFs. They're predators moving flocks. It's based off of that. That is a rebuttal to what Drake said, his request when he was AIing himself as Tupac, to tell him he likes young girls as a gift to me. So away from the battle itself, away from the strategy in the battle on its own, that line right there will be connected to this lawsuit should this move forward if it's not dismissed at the next stage. But if Drake doesn't say that, Drake would have a stronger case, arguably, in his defamation. Now, I'm not a legal expert, and even legal experts would have to argue this in front of a judge, and none of us are going to be the judge, most likely. I mean, maybe the judge is watching. 1 second applause to you, judge. But it wouldn't give ammunition at bare minimum for the defense in this case to draw a line to where this came from. So at bare minimum, from a legal standpoint, you can make an argument that that was a mistake. Because if Drake never does that, then definitely what Dot says and Not Like Us would have a more difficult time being explained in the context, the broader context of this being a rap battle. Maul's like, no, what a mistake. All right, well.
In a battle, you know what people are going to try to weaponize against you and say about you. You know, so you take that and you say, go ahead. I know I don't have no skeletons in my closet. Like, I know the type of things that you're going to try to say about me. So go ahead, say it. Like, yeah, get it off. Say it. Now, what I think the issue came in, I think what the label did with the record and publishing it and, you know, getting behind it, putting money behind it, I think that's where the problem came in for Drake. I don't think it was the fact that Kendrick said it. I think it was the fact that once Drake realized, like, oh, this is a play. Like, okay. Like, and obviously, you know, we're not in Drake's business, but he's in negotiations currently with the same label. He probably asked for a number that not many artists have ever been in a position to even attempt to ask for. So he understood the deeper thing. Like, okay, this is to try to devalue me at a time where y'all know the business that we're sitting around handling or discussing. Kendrick is a new guy on the block with PG Lang. Y'all are now behind that. Okay, cool. There's no problem there. But I see what's happening now. And I think that's where Drake felt like he didn't lose the battle. The battle lost him. He stepped away from like, oh, this is a play. Y'all are trying to get.
He didn't lose the battle lost him. How did Drake say that? I wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding the world from my kid. That was a very Drakean flip right there. I'm giving props on that. 1 second applause.
You know, some data and some numbers behind this thing. Like, okay, I get it. Like, all right, I'm done.
Okay, Ma. We'll come back to that when we get to Not Like Us. Did you want to respond to that? Do you think that it was a... Now,
we're going to check out when they do get to Not Like Us, particularly the pop out in this. That's one of the clips I did pull. I will say, from my point of view, Maul did the best job I've heard of someone explaining this situation. You know, if it's just a rap battle, it's one thing. But once the industry gets in it, once the company starts pushing the song, that's when it felt different for Drake. Now, I don't understand how that could be the case, considering both of them are on the same label and both of them were receiving promotion. Right? Like, both of them are industry priorities, label priorities. I don't understand it. But I think the way that he described it is the best I've heard someone with that point of view describe that so far, including Drake's lawyers, including all the things Drake's lawyers are saying in their legal filing. So 1 second, applause them all.
Mistake that he did that.
I don't think. I mean, I think everything he did with TaylorMade was a mistake.
How so?
I understand the whole 8 Mile approach to shit, but that's also a rap nerd's pipe dream. That's not reality. Like, you don't go into a fight out like that. To me, that tells me that you've never been outside. Like, I don't go to the park to fight
I
somebody.
love how he says that. That's the rap nerd part. To me, that tells me you don't go outside. Second applause. That's what I liked about it, though.
And hand them a weapon. You know what I mean? That's just not reality. To me, that's some blog rap nerd shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of, at this point, you've already escalated things. So now you should probably understand that it's not a friendly fade. Again, I've explained this ad nauseum. A friendly is for someone who you're friendly with. A friendly fade, a fair one we call it. A fair one is for the homie, like we have a rapport and we're gonna go eat after. We're gonna go outside, we're gonna run a fair one, and then we're gonna go eat. That's reserved for the homie. When you're quote unquote, opposition, an enemy, whatever the case may be, where how we came up, there are no fair ones. You get immediately eviscerated, you get packed. We call it maxed out or packed out. There is no such thing as a friendly amongst people who are oppositions. So to me, that, like I said, this screams of somebody who's never been in those environments, because I would not hand somebody a weapon to use against me in the real world, right? The second thing.
Well, what if it's not a real weapon?
I mean, that's a good point, though. 1 second applause. Now, Maul just said, what if it's not a real weapon? Well, legally now it is. Now, we'll see how this plays out. But even in UMG's response to the lawsuit, they talked about TaylorMade freestyle. And they said that Drake said this in that song. Okay, so at bare minimum, it's a weapon for UMG. Even if it's quote unquote not a real weapon, because Maul's, from what he said earlier, talks about how Drake saying that was like, yeah, go ahead and say it because it's not true anyway. Right. But saying it first has now had legal consequences 1 year later. So he kind of did give Drake kind of did give Kendrick a weapon by doing that and by saying that.
It doesn't matter if it's perceived as one.
Yeah,
the cops is going to shoot you if you have a gun in his phone case. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to shoot you. Mm-hmm. It's a perceived weapon. So we all know we live on the internet. Perception doesn't matter. I mean, reality doesn't matter if the perception is fucked up, right? So the second thing was the AI shit. The song would have just been a dope rap song without the AI shit. Again, screaming of lack of cultural awareness, because you don't. I don't know. Maybe I could ask you: would you ever use someone's likeness who's currently walking around?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, me, I wouldn't. But in that
I'm
situation,
saying why not though?
In that, because I don't.
Not in that situation. Just in general. Why not?
I mean, but I have though. I mean, we've done skits and things like that where I've acted like other people
with AI.
Not with AI, but in the terms of acting and using somebody's likeness and personality, not necessarily AI, but with that record, with the TaylorMade record, I thought that it was a clever. First of all, we've never seen that in that type of situation, bad or not. So I thought it was a clever play. Everybody, it wasn't like one of those records where it was like, oh, he killing him. It was more so like, oh, that was clever. It
would have been even more clever without that. Because to me, again, somebody who has respect for, I don't give a fuck if I don't like you as an artist. I would never, because I have respect for hip hop. I have respect for my elders. Even people who don't like me as an elder in the game, I would never disrespect them publicly because I respect.
Where was the disrespect?
To use someone's likeness without their permission.
Okay, 2 points here. One, I agree with Head on that. And that's something I've also said when it comes to TaylorMade freestyle. The AI part of it is clearly polarizing. I like AI, so it wasn't polarizing to me. But I think that song is dope, even if he doesn't use AI. Even if Drake just literally did his best Snoop and Pac impressions, or even just stayed in his regular Drake tone and used their flows and said the same things, I still think that song would have worked, at least for me, because it clearly didn't work. But for me, I would have still appreciated it because, again, it's third-person Drake, and Drake doesn't do that. And so that is a skill set that he is showing that he rarely ever uses, if ever uses, in his music.
Who's currently breathing.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, but see, that's where y'all people lose me in this, because yes, he used Tupac's voice with a filter. He used Snoop. But when we say, oh, he's using their likeness and this, that, and that, like Drake wasn't using that as a single trying to get popping, and that's where I think people was just. This was a moment. It was a battle. It was like, all right, let's have some fun. He's taking too long to respond. What are some of the West Coast, Mount Rushmores? What would they say in this moment to Kendrick if they could speak to him and get him in a room? I think that was Drake's mindset. Like, yo, we doing this or not, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you jumped out there with the verse. Let's do it. Like, I'm fresh off tour. I'm in the studio. I'm not sleeping. I'm up. I'm ready for this moment. Like, what are you doing? And then obviously, the record came out. Somebody made a call to the state. The state said, take it down, delete the song. Okay, cool. No problem. It wasn't that serious of a song. I'll delete it off my Instagram or wherever it was living at. It wasn't that deep. So that's why I feel like when people are like, oh, he used, Pac's likeness or use Snoop's likeness and this, that, and the third. And it's like, bro, it wasn't that serious though. He wasn't trying to make a living off of this song and publish it and push it out to the man. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So when people carry it that heavy, I'm like, bro, this was a battle, bro. This was like a little attack. Like, yo, what's up, fam? Like, I'm here, I'm outside. I'm waiting for you. Like, what you gonna do? Like,
I agree with you. But to me, even your rebuttal screams to me that you don't understand. That's disrespectful. Where we come from. Where I'm
Exactly. I mean, that's the part where this really turns into something else, right? Mal is in New York. He's looking at it from how he sees it being someone from New York. It's totally different on the West Coast. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, man, no one told me LA would lie to me when I moved here. You know, like when I first moved here, every time I was walking north, I was really walking south because the ocean's on the other side. Time in LA goes by way faster than any place I've ever lived because whether it's January or June, I'm wearing the same clothes. So I never have thoughts that connect me to people that I've had my entire life. You know, I never have thoughts like, oh, that's when I met homegirl with the umbrella. You never need an umbrella in LA. Right? I never have thoughts like, oh man, I should have worn my bubble coat. You never need a bubble coat. Right? So in that regard, time goes by way faster here. Way faster here. So I would look up and the year's over. I'm like, what happened? So I had to start basing the year on award shows. Right? I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I ain't seen you since what's going on? The Grammys were going on. I ain't seen you since like February. Oh shoot, yeah, that's right. Because we were outside at that one function. And the BET Awards, it was like June since I've seen you. Whenever I look up and it's the Emmys, if it's the Emmys, American Music Awards, I get shook. I'm like, it's the Emmys already? The year's almost over. What have I accomplished? Small things like that, like LA would lie to me. The seasons lie to me. It's like living in a dark room sometimes. And it's extremely territorial. Away from just rap or hip hop, away from just gangs or cliques or crews or whatever. In general, it's just extremely territorial. So Mal is sitting in New York trying to explain why Drake using AI Snoop and AI Drake wasn't offensive to someone from LA, from the West Coast. And so this back and forth, I'm not sure much ground was made. And I think that's really up for the viewers, but it's difficult to judge Kendrick's reaction when you have that type of cultural mishap with that lack of cultural understanding that DJ had mentioned.
I'm from, that's disrespectful. It doesn't matter what the use case is. You don't violate the elders or the OGs.
Where was the violation at though?
Why did they tell him to take it down?
Because he used somebody's likeness and their tone and their inflections in their voices.
So the violation is using someone's shit without their permission.
Exactly. Right. So that goes on there. But this next part right here again, I mentioned this earlier. I think Mal again does a really great job of explaining and contextualizing the Drake point of view around a few different things than I'm normally used to hearing from people. I think he contextualizes that position well. I still disagree with him, but I think he explains things better than we normally hear them. And so we're gonna take a look at this next clip right here.
Wave the white flag. Again, I think that he realized what was happening. I think he realized, UMG's positioning in this and what they were trying to do, which is why he still has a case ongoing against them around the business that they did around the record. Not so much, Kendrick, but just what UMG did with that record and that messaging.
Well, Mo, again, I want to be objective here. Hard Part 6 came out 24 hours after Not Like Us, so I don't think we even knew what bots or what UMG was doing at that time. I think UMG even heard Not Like Us at the same time we did. So I hear you on the second part once Drake realized what UMG, because I've been on your side with that entire thing.
Uh-huh.
At the end of that, I don't think UMG had anything to do with that outro. I think he was saying to Kendrick,
No, I'm not talking about waving the white flag, because I think it was more so like he understood that, all right, you want to have this back and forth. You obviously have this record. Okay, cool. You going to put out a record after I put out a record. I'm not going to keep, how long is this going to go on? Like I could put out 5 records, you gonna put out 5
You are coping. Second applause.
records. Like we gonna keep putting out records every week. I think at some point Drake was just like, all right, man, like I'm not. If this is what your plan was to drop right after I drop, then cool, man, you got it. Like I'm not gonna sit here and just drop records every 2 days and just go back and forth for the entire summer. I'm not gonna do that.
The white flag or response to what Maul had to say with the 5 records and constantly going, how long is this battle going to continue on?
Battle fatigue is a thing. You know, I watch. I'm a big WWE fan. I watch wrestlers submit all the time.
Okay, so you think it was battle fatigue?
You think it was a submission?
Well, the thing is, I don't want to get hella deep because people like say they like to call me pretentious, but Damaris.
Is that what they say about you?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Damaris, let me ask you a question. When you listen to the Part 6, is his energy the same as it is on Family Matters?
I'm choosing not to answer that question because this is completely between you guys, and me and Rory have decided to stay completely out of it.
Yeah, we're trying to get you guys
Because we
arguing.
have already, because we've covered this battle so much, there's preconceived notions about what sides we are on, so we're staying completely
Maul,
neutral in
so
this.
you think that Drake's energy is the same on Family Matters and on the Hard Part
It's not supposed to be. It's a different record. The energy of the record is different. The production is different.
I agree.
It's a totally different energy.
Do you think his temperament is the same?
Well, no, because again, it's a different song. I think that he's seeing what's going on. Like he's piecing certain things together, like kind of trying to put the puzzle. Like, oh, okay, this is what this is about. Like, oh, all right. So I don't think his temperament is different on Hard Part 6 than it was on Family Matters. Absolutely, but not due to battle fatigue or anything like that. I think it's due to him like finally seeing like, okay, I see what's going on here. I see what's happening. I see what this is getting ready to. This is a leverage moment. Like, okay, I thought we was battling as just rappers and there was no business attached to this. I think he started seeing that, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see what's happening here. Like there's business being attached to this. Like I wasn't doing this for business or trying to capitalize. He has, what could he capitalize off of? He's already one of the biggest artists in the world. There was no room for capitalization there. It was just like, all right, I'm having a moment with an MC I obviously respect, with a rapper that I respect. He has some words for me. I have some words for him. But I think that Kendrick's mindset was business. I think Drake's mindset was battle.
Yeah, I mean, see, right, I firmly disagree here, right? But like I mentioned earlier, when I say that Maul does a good job of contextualizing that perspective, this is what I mean, right? Because you can see, now I listened to Hard Part 6 and it sounds like he just quit. You know what I mean? He couldn't even, Drake's logic wasn't even coherent. We don't know who the clowns were. We don't know who was feeding the information, but both of them were used as touch points in that song, right? But when you get to the point and you start believing that you're being capitalized off of, as a regular person, away from being Kendrick and Drake, as a regular person, that is an idea that I think connects with people, right? And if I'm Drake's lawyers, that's what I'm trying to make the jury believe, right? When you get to the point where you have this large entity that is making money off of something that's just supposed to be for sport, perhaps you have an opportunity to sway a jury, right? It's difficult for me to look at any of this stuff that anybody's talking about these days without this lawsuit lingering, because there's so many things that people say that are contradicting what Drake is arguing in his legal documents. People will say, well, what did Drake lose? Drake didn't lose anything. Drake didn't lose any business opportunities or anything. Well, that's not what he's arguing in his legal papers. He's saying that he had Drake is fine. He's unbothered, No, that's not what he's saying in his legal papers. He's got emotional distress. His value of his business has decreased and he's losing business opportunities. That's why he's suing. Right? So it's hard for me to look at any of the things that people say outside of that. But if you're not following that, the way Maul breaks this down, I think is a really good job. 1 second, pause from Maul.
And I think that's where the disconnect happened. And Drake walked away from like, okay, you in business mode. PG Lang, getting it going. UMG is behind it now. Okay, I see what's going on. That's not why I engage in this thing. I engage in this shit as a battle, not as turning it into business and then getting, whatever Kendrick got from it. Which I'm not mad at. I mean, capitalize off the fucking moment as a businessman and as an artist. Cool. But I think Drake's mindset was more, this is just a battle of two of the best rappers and MCs right now.
I disagree. Like Rory said, the song was just days of like, there was no business around it. Plus, That's not necessarily how the music business works. Rory's put out an album. You could probably, well, you don't want to talk.
Platinum.
Okay, fine. But, huh?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I love that this is the example for everything. It's my album.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but there's a lot of people who speak on the music business that don't actively participate in the music business.
Right.
That's not how the music business is set up. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to just dictate, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And there's whole departments of people that have to move and do shit when you do shit. The other part
You don't think Drake and Kendrick dictate?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you still have to, that still takes time. You don't get, you don't have to, it's not.
Or the label sees what's going on and they call you. Like,
Who's
hey,
the label?
anybody that works for the label that you're assigned to.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. That's not necessarily true. Because
What do you mean?
if I'm in the radio promotions department, I don't represent the label. I represent the record.
It depends on who you are. Some people work for the record label that are in radio.
No.
We know that.
They work for the label, but I'm not a representative of the label to, like, I don't call you.
No, not
like,
publicly. No,
what's
but
up with the-
some people at radio are absolutely on payroll with labels. 1,000,000%.
I'm not saying
And you know that.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if I am in the promotions department,
Mhm.
I don't get to call you and be like, yeah, so what are we doing with this record? That's not how it
No.
works.
I'm not saying that. I'm talking. This is bigger than promotions department. This is bigger than that. I think that the higher up saw what was happening with two of the biggest artists of their generations, and was like, we need to capitalize off of this 1,000%. And nobody can convince me that did not happen. 1,000,000% that happened. We are going to capitalize off of this moment.
So you think there was an entire plot line?
Maybe not from the beginning, but once it started, it was going.
When do you think that the label started to conspire?
I think that once the record started dropping, once we got the back and forth, like Drake dropped, Kendrick dropped, Drake dropped a day or two after that. I think that once they saw that, and then they saw what the numbers was doing on whatever was YouTube or whatever they was like, no, we're absolutely capitalizing off of this moment. There's no way the entire world is looking at this moment and the labels that these gentlemen are attached to in some way is not capitalizing off the moment. They're not going to fumble that bag. No way.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Maul there. Now, I don't think it's coordinated. I don't think it's as conspiratorial as he leads it to believe. But I just think in your fiduciary responsibility of business, you're not going to let a moment like that pass. But I don't want to give away too much of this piece of the conversation either. This is a fantastic conversation between Maul and Head. Big props to Rory and Maul for putting this together. Big shout out to Damaris. I messed up her name in the beginning, but her name is Damaris. And, particularly, a lot of things from my point of view feel convenient and feel like cop-outs at this point in the game, right? Away from just Maul, we'll say. Drake is either unbothered or he's not, but in the legal documents now he's highly bothered. Drake hasn't lost anything. He hasn't lost any business or his reputation hasn't suffered. Yeah, but in his legal documents, he's arguing the exact opposite. To look back at this battle and point a finger at Kendrick or Interscope for capitalizing off the success of Not Like Us. And truthfully, Euphoria was a top 3 song. Can't sleep on that. And pretend as if Republic or Drake didn't have the same intention with Family Matters, particularly Family Matters. Drake shot an entire video for that song. He shot a video for Family Matters. He put money into that. He took it a step further than anything we'd seen from Kendrick at that point in time. And for that to be lost in the discussion, he intended for that to go. And when it didn't, that's where we get a whole lot of plea copping. But again, I'll put the link in the description to this conversation. Let me know what you think about this. I thought it was really dope. There's a part in here also where they debate whether Family Matters is the best rapping. Now, I talk about that in Shakespeare and Shakedown. I also talk about that. You'll see that in the supercut when you get a chance to watch it on this channel. The revisionist history around Family Matters continues. So let me know what you think in the comments section. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel. Follow The Company Man on everything. Follow the Justin Hunt podcast where you listen to podcasts. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping in. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip-hop, from trip-hop to yes, dog, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.